This recipe was something that I came up with when I was creating a feast for my friends, and it was an absolute hit. What I'm going to be doing is roasting the eggplant and serving it with some melted cheese and prosciutto in a delicious rich tomato sauce. First, we need to roast the eggplant. Now, I've preheated my oven to 180 degrees and I'll pierce the eggplant all over with a little sharp knife. This is important so they don't explode in the oven and they retain their shape. So just on a tray with a little bit of baking paper. A good indication of a good quality eggplant is shiny skin, just like this, and they should be quite firm and heavy. If they're a little bit spongy, then you know they're a little bit old, and if their skin's wrinkly too, that's not a good sign either. Now these can go in the oven along with a few big handfuls of hazelnuts, and these are going to roast for about 10 minutes at 180 degrees. They'll come out first, while these take about 45, or until they're really, really soft. Now, while that's happening, we can get on to a really delicious, rich tomato sauce. I'll turn the heat on a medium to small saucepan, add a good glug of extra virgin olive oil. I'm using a good quality Australian one. And now for some garlic. I'll bruise them. That just crushes it, and then we'll roughly chop it, running the knife through the garlic 3 or 4 times. Not using any onion here. I want this to be a really basic sauce so the true flavours of the tomato can come out along with some capers and a little bit of chilli. So very simple recipe to follow. The oil's starting to sizzle, so just give that a toss, add a little bit of salt. That'll also control how fast the garlic cooks. Now for some chilli. This is just a little bit of dried chilli, 1/4 teaspoon. If you're making this for the kids, you can leave out the chilli or just add a small amount of it. And once that starts to go golden, I'll add a good handful of baby capers. Now the baby capers are going to impart the salty savouriness that I want in this recipe. And now we'll add the tomatoes. I like to use crushed tomatoes for this. A little crack of pepper. See the tomatoes coming to the boil instantly. Now I'll turn it down and then the lid can go on. All right, all we need to do now is wait for the eggplant to finish cooking. I'll keep an eye on the toasted hazelnuts so they don't burn. In the meantime, I will grate some smoked cheddar cheese and prepare my prosciutto. The eggplant has cooked nicely. See how it shrivels up a little bit? And you know it's cooked because it's very soft. Also, my tomato sauce has thickened. It's reduced a lot. It's rich, just how I like it. I've just allowed these to cool down enough to handle because they can be very hot when they come out of the oven. And with a really sharp knife, cut this in half. Be very delicate with it so we still maintain the shape of the eggplant, and turn them out. And you can expose that beautiful soft flesh. And there's a reason why they call eggplant one of the favourites of vegetarians, because it's so meaty and hearty. It's a great substitute for meat, and if you wanted to make this completely 100% vegetarian, all you have to do is leave out the prosciutto. Now, as you can see, I'm just spreading that out so it goes back into that perfect shape. What I'll do now is just crisscross the flesh there, just to make it much easier when you're serving to scoop out that flesh. Now I'll place these back into the tray, top to tail, just so they fit quite snug. And now I'll dress the eggplant. First up, a little bit of the cheddar, the smoked cheddar. I like the bitey, nutty flavour of the cheddar. And if you can't find smoked cheddar, just classic cheddar is fine. Now I'll add our tomato sauce in the centre on each of our little half eggplants. I'm keeping it simple with just the eggplant, but if you want to, you could take this to the next level by roasting a few different vegetables like sweet potato and the zucchini in this and make a complete medley. Now I'm adding a little bit of the prosciutto just over the top. You can add 1 to 2 pieces. I'm just adding 1 piece of prosciutto per eggplant because they're a medium size. This is where you go all out with the cheese. Lots of cheese on top, and then this goes back in the oven. I've put the grill element on, and these are going to take 1 to 2 minutes or until that cheese is bubbly and golden brown. This is absolutely perfect. Bubbly, golden brown. The prosciutto is crispy on the outside. Now to serve these, I'll place them on a plate. They're very hot, so be careful. And top to tail again, because they look great on the plate like that. And then the last one here. And then don't forget those delightful golden brown crunchy hazelnuts. And I'll roughly run my knife through the hazelnuts. You can use different types of nuts for this. Walnuts work, even pine nuts, and some pecan nuts, great for that crunch right at the end. And then that can go on the top for some fresh herbs. A little bit of chives. You could use parsley or basil would work nicely with this. I love the subtle onion flavour of the chive, so that's why I'm using it for this recipe. And then I'll sprinkle them over the top. And that is really a meal in itself. It's a fantastic snack, an entree, or do what I do and serve it as part of a feast with some chicken or some roasted fish. That is my baked eggplant. It is a winner every single time.